I mean, let's face it, Alpinestars hasn't changed these boots in years. Although, I guess now that I think about it, there aren't really any manufacturers that have changed their boots in years that I know of. Nonetheless, I think the conversation still needs to be had. Are Alpinestars boots still relevant, still good in 2024 with all the new gear that's coming out from all the growing manufacturers of gear? Let's face it, there's all kinds of brands out there who honestly put out some good stuff. So are Alpinestars still one of the top dogs when it comes to boots in 2024? Let's break it down. Now, before I get into it, I want to start this off by saying I am not sponsored by any boot company. All of the boots that I have worn, that I have tried, I've had to pay for with my hard-earned money. So this is a non-biased approach. It's nothing against any other brand that you may or may not like. I'm just going to speak on my experiences when it comes to boots. Because if you're anything like me and you're forking over anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for a set of boots, you want them to last, especially after you get them broken in, because they're usually super stiff when you get them. You want to make sure that they stand up to the test of time, because it's not something that you want to replace all of the time. We're not like these sponsored pro riders that get full custom boots made every time they hit the track, different colors, all kinds of customized stuff. If you're like me, you need to buy a set of boots that's really good, they're comfortable, they're high quality, and they're going to last, to make sure you get your money in them. Next up, let's talk about, well, Mitch, how do you know? Have you tried other brands? Have you really put these through the test? I can answer that. I have been using Tech 7 boots for years now. I know you may be thinking, well, that's great. You've got lots of different kinds of boots, lots of Tech 7s. Have you tried any other brands? As a matter of fact, I have tried other brands, and these aren't even all of them. I got another set of Thor boots back there. Check this out. Look at these babies. These are kicking it old school, dude. Check those out. Those are almost vintage Thor boots at this point. I'm hanging on to these forever. These are really cool. But you may be asking, have you tried other brands? Indeed, I have. There's even more behind the camera. Now, I've been riding for a long time, so I've used lots of different kinds of boots over the years. So I think I have some kind of informed opinion when it comes to whether or not boots are good, boots are bad, some pros and cons and things to remember. Which brings us right back to this whole argument. Are the Alpinestars still a good boot in 2024? I picture myself having like a boot collection, you know what I mean? Like, especially when you get like a pair of old boots, you know, because they're kind of like, get that vintage vibe to them. I dig that. So I want to have like vintage boots when I get old. You know what I mean? I think that that would be really cool. Okay, let's talk about it. The Alpinestars, these are Tech 7 boots. Typically, I run a Tech 7. Tech 3s are a little too on the lower end for me, and I have gotten a pair of Tech 10s, which are also behind the camera. And I did a video on those one time of whether or not the Tech 10s are really worth the money as opposed to the Tech 7s. My opinion, you may hate me for this, is that the Tech 10s are not worth the money that the Tech 7s are. So I keep going back to the Tech 7s. Now, as you'll notice, these are shiny new boots. So you're probably thinking, Mitch, you obviously think they're still good because you just bought another pair. Touche. But let me talk about why I think the Alpinestars Tech 7 boots are still good in 2024. I'm going to give you some pros and cons and some things to consider if you're looking at like a pair of the Fox Instinct boots from my experience. Now, when it comes to the Tech 7 boots, they are CE certified. That means they are abrasion resistant. They have a certain amount of cut resistance to them, and the sole is made up of a certain sturdiness. It's because it's f***ing cold outside, okay? It's minus 50 Celsius while I'm recording this. That's cold. By contrast, if you look at some of the Fox Instinct boots, yes, they are CE certified, but there's some things about these Fox boots that I'm just not a fan of, and honestly, I've really tried to be. But I've had multiple issues with these. I've had some of the buckles break off. This boot here is missing a buckle altogether on the front, and some of the other issues that I've had, I still got dirt pouring out of these things. So other parts of these Fox boots keep coming apart on me. I've got giant holes in like the front tongue area here. It lets dirt and mud and water in, and then my feet get soaked in no time, whereas opposed to some of the other brands, they don't do that. And I've tried using these Fox boots for years, and I find I was always having the same issue. So I would get a pair of Alpinestars Tech 7s, use them start to finish. They would be pretty good. And then I'd be like, I'm gonna try something different. I get a pair of the Fox boots, and then I've just run into more of the same old problems with them. Whereas I find the Alpinestars, they don't quite have that. One of my bigger, I guess, issues with the Tech 7s is that if you're like me and you like running a really sharp foot peg, the soles of the Tech 7s can be a little soft. I don't know if you can see that, but They get chewed up pretty quickly on some of the boots, as opposed to, honestly, some of the other brands I haven't had that because the sole is just a little bit harder. So maybe that's just some personal preference, but it is something to consider when you're looking at buying a new pair of Alpinestars. One of the things that I had an issue with in some of their other boots was where you'd pull the tab to get your finger here. There wasn't really any room to get your finger in there. So when you tried to get your finger in, take your boot off, this thing was jam-packed with dirt, and you'd have to find a stick or something to get in there and like pry it out, because just from roost or whatever, so much dirt would build into there that you couldn't get your fingers in there. And that was one thing that I found with some of the other brands didn't happen. So it looks like they've opened up some of the opening there so that there's a little bit more room to get your finger in there and get some of the latches open. The latches work well. I have never had one of these buckles break, as opposed to the other brands I've had them break off and that kind of stuff. And also want to touch on this quick too. With these Fox boots that I just showed you, you may be thinking, well, those look kind of weathered, those look kind of old. Surely you've got a lot of hours on those things. Nope. I bought these about a year ago, and I bet you I have probably maybe 20 hours on them, 30 hours max, not making it up. True story. These things started to fall apart immediately, so much so to the point, actually, I wanted to get a hold of somebody at Fox and just tell them, look, your boots are garbage, man. The emblem's breaking off, the buckles are coming off, it's got giant holes in the tongue letting the dirt in, and I barely got any hours on these things. I haven't found that to have been the case with the Alpinestars. They've always done pretty well for me. I feel like maybe in the last couple years, Fox kind of let the Q&A go, Q&A, quality assurance, let them go on their boots, because these just, honestly, they weren't it. I blew through these in no time, and like I said, they cost about the same amount of money. So, something to consider. So you may love me for it, you may hate me for it. I'm not a fan of the Fox boot, especially after my last experience with them. I just found that they fell apart super quick, and we're around the same price point as the Alpinestars. Now, there are other brands. There's the SIDI City, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I don't know how you guys want to pronounce that. Over to you. There are other brands, you know, there's still Thor boots, there's still some other stuff out there. I'm not going to go out and spend the money to test every single brand of boot. I'm just telling you what I have found works really well. And I do find that even though they haven't changed much, the Alpinestars Tech 7s are still a really good brand of boot in 2024. Hopefully they send me some new ones for saying that. And so I would say, yeah, the Alpinestars, the Tech 7 group for sure, is definitely still relevant, still worth it in 2024. I'm going to put some more hours on these babies and I'll get back to you. But I suspect they're going to hold up as well as all the other ones have for me. And I don't see myself changing anytime soon, honestly. But love me for it, hate me for it. Let me know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Put a comment below. Tell me what your favorite brand of boots are. And maybe let me know if, hey, I've tried out the SIDI, the Cities, and they last a long, long time, even more so than the Alpinestars. So let me know, leave a comment, hit subscribe. You know I really appreciate it. Keep these videos coming for you. I love doing them. And we'll see you guys real soon.